How are you? It's been so long. I'm so excited to be back to have this conversation.
I'm fantastic. I'm very, very fantastic. I feel good. I hope you're well and in good health. How has been your weeks? It's
Yeah,
been a
it's
while.
been a few weeks.
A few
It's
weeks of
been a
thunder.
few.
A few weeks
Yeah,
of marathons. You've been working a lot. You need to go on
yeah,
vacation to
it's been.
Dubai.
I can't wait for those days.
You need to go to
But we're
Dubai.
not there yet. We're not there yet. But yeah, it's been busy, but it's been productive. It's been good. God has been good. We celebrated our fourth wedding anniversary, Moses and I. That's pretty exciting. Now we're racing to year five. So that's been happening. We've been doing the personal book club, and that's been going well as well. Plus the day job. Yeah. It's
I,
been a
I,
lot,
I
but it's
actually
been
saw the anniversary. I was saying, Whoopi, you are working, my brother. You are Whoopi, you are a bully. You know,
I'm a
Whoopi,
bully.
you are a bully, Whoopi. You know, you're working a lot. You know, you.
I'm
ah,
not a bully. You see why
but
you think I'm the
sure.
bully. Moses seems to be the quieter one of the two of us, but I promise you,
Mm,
in this situation, he's the bully.
really?
I promise you,
Hey.
no lie. Yeah, it's just because
Ah,
I talk a lot, so it may seem that I am the bully, but I promise you, I'm not. And yourself, what have you been up to?
things have been fantastic, very much fantastic. It's just a thing of
Mhm.
wanting to make sure that we we move on. I just hit over 10K and I was very much excited about it.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Well done. Well
Thanks.
done.
It's been fantastic. It's been an amazing few days, and I'm feeling
Yeah.
so good. People like Adams who are always there to share the content.
Yeah.
Fantastic, guys. Good to see you guys. People like Tsenga, they are always there for us to share content.
Yeah.
It's people like these guys that are making it possible for us to reach a wider audience. So it's been an amazing a time. So, guys, we talk
Awesome.
about teaching children the value of money with my friend here, Bupe. All right. So,
Yeah,
Bupe, over to
absolutely.
you. Let's get into the business
Yes,
for the
let's get
night.
into it. Yeah, so when we talk about finances and when I follow you a lot, I see that you're very passionate about family finance, which is great. I see you
Yes.
talking to the women, I see you talking to the men, and it's a conversation that needs to be had and desperately so. But I think that, our topic tonight is very important because there's a group of
Yes.
people who are a very important part of the family unit that need
Yes.
this information, and it is
Yes.
the children. And I'm excited to have this
Exactly.
conversation with you because I've talked so much about children this week, and it's just a perfect blend into the conversation.
Indeed.
So let's just start with, how important is it to teach children about finances?
You see, I made a few dongolistic slides, okay?
Oh, beautiful. I love it.
It's very important to involve children in discussing about family finance and, of course,
Mhm.
building a legacy. The reason
Yeah.
why you see most Indian children build more on their wealth is because Indian parents have done extremely well. The
That's true.
statistics in the United States shows that the Indian families make more money than any other family in the United States when it's come to household income
Really?
ratio. The Indian Americans make more money than the indigenous Americans, but because the Indian people have taught their children so well at a very, very young age the value of money. All right.
Hmm.
So it's extremely crucial that children are taught about money at a very, very young age. So I liked what you said when you talked about the icebreaker. All right.
Hmm.
I wanted us to be able to share, for example, one money related lesson that each one of us learned as a kid. So for me, I want to share one of the money lessons I learned as a kid.
Hmm.
My dad had a restaurant, and
Yeah.
one thing that I learned there is that money has got to be protected. Small money is better than no money. All right, there are
Hmm.
some things that would sell at a restaurant that's a very cheap person that would wonder, but why are you charging this small? So, so small money is better than no money. So at a
Mm.
very young age, I grew up understand. You know what? I think it's always a good thing to have small money than having no money. All right. So
That's
when you
powerful.
ask me that question, why should we start teaching our children about money? Why is it important? I'm looking at, one day they are going to grow. You
Mm.
don't want to be a dad. You don't want to be a dad who never explained anything meaningful to his kids, because one day
Yeah.
those kids are going to grow. They're going to become family men. They're going to
Mm.
become dads to other people. If you
Mm.
don't teach them the value of money, you're creating a disaster. So that
That's
is
true.
why, I think the question of us is very important. Very,
Mm.
very important
Okay.
indeed.
That's nice. So what family what share one money related lesson you had? So mine is really related to money, not exactly money. I grew up
Yes.
around I grew up in a working class home. My parents were employed,
Yes.
they were not business people, and they taught me the value of hard work.
Yes.
I grew up in a home where my parents raised a lot of people around them. I grew up a lot around extended family, and sometimes I wonder, it's like it's a miracle. How did you even manage to take care of so many people, right? But something that my parents always reminded us of is the value of hard work, whether it's at school, whether it's in your chores at home. And that is how they explain how they were able to take care of us. And if you're going to generate income, we can't exactly separate the value of hard work in earning, even though now there's a debate with working smart. But I always say, even people who work smart had to work hard first. So
Indeed.
yeah,
Indeed.
that's my money related uh, lesson
Fantastic.
from childhood.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I like that.
So on to the next question, right? So, childhood is a vast period of time, starting from when a child is in the womb to when, say, they're about 18, depending on which law you are looking at. And sometimes, yeah,
Yes.
let's say 18. So 0 to 18. When do we start talking to children about money?
All right. So, children can be taught about money at a very, very, very young age. Like I said,
Yeah.
there's no, you know, the, there's no really like a specific age where you can say, what, I think at this age, my child is
Yeah.
5 years old. I'm gonna start teaching them about money. But it's a
Yeah.
very good question. All right,
Yeah.
partly because i- if we delay, those children are going to grow, and once they grow,
Mm.
it becomes difficult for them to teach them meaningful lessons.
Yeah.
So maybe early financial education is extremely important when the child just begins to talk. Now, when we say
Mm.
teach kids about money, we don't say teach them that you're supposed to make money. No, for example, how do they use food at home? It shows
Mm-hmm.
whether they value money or not. Right? There are
Mm.
kids in homes who eat like mad kids. They have no discipline,
So
they have
much
no
like that.
routine. They
Yeah.
just empty the freezer whenever they feel like, because dad has gone
Mm.
for work. They have no idea what dad goes through to provide for them. All right.
Mm.
So
Mm.
teaching kids about money has got also to do with teaching them to value food. When there's
Mm.
food at home, how do they use the food? So teach them
Mm.
to only eat, or to only eat when they are hungry, when they need the food, not
Mm.
unnecessary just eating because dad bought food. No,
Mm.
that's also another way we can begin to teach them at a young age that not these things we spend money to buy. Use the food very
Mm.
well. Only use the food when you need it. Don't get a plate full of food you can't finish. Only get what you can finish. So you begin to teach them to value food. In
Mm.
a sense, you are teaching them to value money because money
Yeah.
is used to buy food. So once
Mm.
kids can know how to respect food, all right, they can know
Mm.
how to respect money. So a practical example,
Love that.
the way we have done it, we've put some examples that Zambian parents can use, and we are saying,
Yeah.
for example, you can introduce saving through piggy banks or simply
Mm.
managers in your home. When a child does
Yeah.
something, for example, if my son helps me clean my vehicle, what do I do? I say, okay, fine, I'm giving you a 20 kwacha. Go and put in your jar. All right.
Yeah.
That's
Mm.
fantastic. So he knows, okay, I'm teaching him a work ethic. All right. Don't get
Mm.
things for
Mm.
free. When you work, you're going to be paid. All right. When you are
Oh.
paid, go and save some money. So you find that this kid has got a jar where he puts the 20 kwachas, 10 kwachas. You are teaching them how to save at a young age, so they know when they want to buy something, oh, go and get. You
Mm.
can't get from your jar for now. You won't get from your jar when you want to buy yourself a bowl.
Yeah.
Right. So when they sell up to the price for the bowl, no, dad have sold up to the price for the bowl. Can I buy a bowl? Say
Yeah.
now let's go to shop to go and buy yourself a bowl. Then you go and buy.
Mm.
So they know you have to save before you can spend. All right.
Mm.
So you can teach that. So Zambian parents can introduce, a piggy banks or simply managers and simply teach children
Yeah.
about earning money through, chores or small businesses. Like I always give an example of a vehicle. You have a son or your daughter helps you to clean the house. All right.
Yeah.
You are watching, she comes, she joins you. She doesn't really know how to do that, but give her the motivation. All right.
Mm.
To know
Mm.
that what when you do the job, you get a reward. So you are
Yes.
teaching them the work ethic. The thing we
Mm.
have in Africa is that when a parent is giving their child money, we say "Muzab mononga mwana." All right. We associate
Mm.
giving a child money to spoiling a child. All right.
Mm.
So we are okay teaching our children poverty, and we're not okay teaching them how to make money. All right. So that's the
Yeah,
point.
true.
We begin to teach our children that it's okay to make money. It's not a
Mm.
problem. So long you do something legitimate, that is not against
Yeah.
Bible principles. It's okay. So that we,
That's
we, we
awesome.
we don't associate making money to spoiling a child. Because kids will
Yeah.
become so scared of talking about money, thinking what if you talk about money, you're gonna be a thief, you're gonna be a prostitute, you're gonna be spoiled. So we don't want
Because
to
you
instill
like
that in our
money.
kids. We want to ensure as we teach our kids, they know that it's okay to make a decent living, honest living. It's okay.
I love that. I truly love how you have tackled that question because you brought a light bulb moment for me in that when we talk about teaching children about money, we're not exactly rushing to the paper first.
Yeah.
And that's what
Yeah.
the whole premise of financial literacy is understanding how money works. So
Yeah.
it's teaching the children values first, ethics first, so that
Yeah.
even the time they have money, they already have that foundation where they understand, oh, okay, I don't waste food because it costs money. And it's even
Yes.
simple things like, the first time a child sees a bank, you can show, if you're driving through town, being deliberate about showing them this is a bank. So, daddy, mommy, what is a bank? A bank is where people deposit money, and money is a means of
Yes.
exchange and whatever. That's what buys our food and our clothes. And when we're
Yes.
intentional about doing such small things, it goes such a long way. I
Yes.
remember the first time I got into, okay, I don't remember this first time I entered a bank, but like I remember that banks were places I was never in. I didn't know why. It was just like I just felt uncomfortable in a bank. I don't know if it's because I felt like I didn't belong there, but it's just because it was an institution that I wasn't oriented in early,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
you have to, so we're not saying, yeah, so it's just important to teach the values first. And it goes straight into my next question about essential principles. And like you have said, um, like we have said already, the spectrum of children, if we're talking about 5 to 18, we're talking maybe the age 5, is teaching them principles like not wasting food and teaching them the value of money and sharing and giving, because that's all under money.
Yeah.
I wanted us to discuss a little bit what principles of money are essential to teach to children. I think we've already touched on values, the value of money, but when we talk about the principles of money, what would those be?
That's a very good question. That's extremely good question. So there are some few key principles, children should learn about money. All right, and this is
Yeah,
why I bring question number two to a parent. So for this, if you've noticed our audience, we have put questions on each slide so that you can answer as a parent. All right.
yeah,
So the question number two that you're answering. Remember, question one, we asked you a question. We said, when should you start teaching your kids about money? We've answered that question. All right. And now question number two, we're also saying, what principles should children learn about money? All right. Now the key
mm,
principles may include saving. Teach
yeah,
kids how to save the money. Like I said, if your child does some chores, you give them a 20 kwacha, tell them, put part of it in a jar. All right.
yeah,
Make for them some money jars in a home or some piggy
mm,
banks in a home. All right. So that they know
mm,
they're supposed to save some money. So teach them how to save. All right. So you even give them a target. When you get to 100 kwacha, I'm going to get for you a bowl or a dough from Shoprite or something like that. So they know they are saving up for something. You are
Yeah.
teaching them at a young age. But also, budgeting is important. When you are making a
Mm,
budget for the house, for your home, do not
mm,
chase your kids. Let them know what a budgeting
mm.
process is. And this is something I
Yeah.
appreciate about Dad. Dad did a fantastic
Yeah.
job in teaching us how to value money and how to count, how to plan. This is why
Yeah.
we grew up to become better business people, better entrepreneurs, because Dad at a young age taught us. I worked in my father's restaurant at a very young age. I could go to sell.
Mm,
Sometimes I'd be alone in his restaurant. He's
yeah.
gone somewhere. My brother and I are just there working. All right.
Mm,
So you can teach kids how to budget. When you are planning for food to buy at home, you are planning for groceries, let your kids be involved. Let
mm,
them know the needs versus the wants. All right.
mm,
So you can ask them, okay, what do you want to have? Let them write what they want. And then you can now show them, okay, fine, do you really need this one? So that they
mm,
can know this is a want, it's not a need. What you need is
mm,
shoes. You don't need these doors. You don't need these
mm,
things. So that they can be able to know a need versus a want. So teach them some principles about
mm.
needs and about wants. This is why we have people who are married. They still don't know the difference between direct responsibilities and indirect
Yeah.
responsibilities. Do you know why? Because nobody taught them the difference. So
Yeah.
somebody can get paid, all right, and gets the
Mm,
money and sends to some sister who's in school somewhere, or sends to a relative somewhere, or just gives it out without informing the wife or without
mm,
informing the husband. Do you know why? Because they don't really know the difference between direct responsibility and indirect responsibility. They are okay
mm.
helping someone else, and then they start borrowing to survive in a home because
Yeah.
nobody taught them that there are things we can avoid. First of all,
Mm,
sort out
yeah.
responsibilities that are directly related to your household. And
Oh, so
then
good.
you can think about people in other homes. All right.
Yeah.
So you can begin to teach kids those principles. What is the
Yeah.
difference between a direct responsibility and an indirect responsibility? I'm going to give a very famous example, which I
Yeah.
like to give. And some people may not be happy with this, but it's a fact. Let's say two people are married, Vope. All right.
Yeah. Mm,
How do you differentiate between a direct responsibility and an
mhm,
indirect responsibility?
mhm,
If you are two people are married and then
mhm,
you both have parents, all right?
mhm,
If those parents are not living in your household, they
mm,
become your indirect responsibility. All
mm.
right? Do you know
Yeah.
why? Because they are
Mhm,
not under your roof.
mhm.
That's the fact. They are your
Yeah.
parents? Yes. Do you love them? Yes. Are you
Absolutely.
supposed to help them when they need help? Yes. But are they
100%.
your direct responsibilities? It's a no.
No.
Do you know why? Because they are
Mm,
not in your household. And this is a Bible principle, people. If you go to First
mm,
Timothy, 5:8, it
mm,
says that a man, all right, who cannot provide for his household, all right,
mm.
for his own, especially members of his own household, is worse than a man
Than a
without
military
faith.
day.
So the Bible
Mm,
clearly identifies that you're supposed to provide for your family, but especially those who are directly in your household, because those under your roof depend on you. Have you seen?
mm.
Those
Yeah.
outside can wait.
Yeah.
So a husband or a wife who does not really understand the difference between a direct responsibility and an indirect responsibility is going to use feelings and say, "What? It's my dad. It's my
Yeah.
mom. I'm going to get my son and send to them." But really, it's not supposed to be that way. It's supposed to know. Yes, if it's an emergency, obviously we want to help our parents because it's an
For
emergency. But if
sure.
it's something
Mm.
that can wait, it can wait. Have you seen?
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
very, some people don't like this, but that's the fact.
Yeah.
Because you can't be getting money and then you send to your sister who's in school somewhere, or your brother, or your cousin, or your relative, and then you leave your home without food. Then you
Yeah.
begin to borrow to buy food at home. You should have sorted out your direct responsibility in your home. Buy food, pay
Mm,
rentals. Then you can help
mm,
someone else. It's a
mm.
Bible principle, so you can teach your kids at a very young age those principles.
I love that, Charek. I really, really do because you touch on two topics that
Yeah.
I'm really passionate about when it comes to finances and
Yes.
especially in the context of children that we're talking about tonight. And it's one, what I picked out is teaching your children to set boundaries.
Yes.
It speaks so much to just what you have said, direct
Yes.
responsibilities and indirect responsibilities. And it goes into the famous topic of black tax. But boundaries when it comes to money in a home is such an important conversation to have, but even more so to teach it to children. So when we go back to principles, the principle of setting boundaries, again, it's not so much about strictly money itself when we are teaching it to a child. Let's say if they are
Yes.
5 and 12, 5 and 13, before they hit the teenage age when they can actually start to comprehend things well. When you teach them to set boundaries, to say no, this is where you start and this is where you stop.
Yes.
They find it easier to learn the
Yes.
principles when it even comes to money because they know the concept of boundaries as well. And the other thing I picked up from what you're saying is the importance of managing emotions, right?
Yes.
Yes, there may be an emergency and you need to help, but are you going to lose your life in the process of the emergency? What is the
Yes.
wise choice? Do you have an emergency fund for emergencies, or is this now a time to start planning for those things? Like even when the
Yes.
children are saving, for instance, like you have said in the piggy bank, such a valuable point you have made about they are saving for a ball.
Yeah.
It already teaches them about goal setting. They're already
Yes.
wired. They know that I'm just not putting away money to put it away. So that
Yeah.
when they grow older and now they hit their teenage years and we start to introduce principles like emergency funds and investing, growing money and multiplying money, they already have that technical skill and I really, really, really love that. So we can move to the next question.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, so our next question is just the role of the education system in teaching the value of money. I mean, you know how we hear about it all the time. Charity begins at home, and it is
Yes.
so true. The home is the primary place where children are taught, whether it's spiritual, emotional, physical things. But naturally the way the world is designed, we surrender our children to the school system so early. So what is the role of the education system in teaching the value of money to our children?
That's a good one, Wupe. Partly because the education system plays a vital role. Kids start going to school at a very very young age. Some kids
Yeah.
start going to school as early as 1 year 5 months, 1 year 6, 1 year
Mm.
7, 2 years.
Sadly, yo.
Yes, there are kids. There are schools where you can take a 3 months old baby and the baby will be there. I know
Oh, I
schools
hope
like
it
that.
never gets to
You
that.
can take a
Mm.
2 weeks old baby and they'll keep it. They keep the baby for you at a fee,
Mm.
of course.
Mm.
Yes.
Yes.
We have schools where 1 year olds, 2 year olds are going to school, 3 year olds are going to school. So
Mm.
they spend more time with teachers and the schools,
And they
all
do
right,
with us,
than they
yeah.
spend at home with us, the parents. So
Yeah.
what is so here, financial literacy should be, part of the school curriculum. I'm just so
Mm.
sad. I think in the
Mm.
African context, we've done extremely poor when it comes to teaching our children about money.
Yeah.
Nobody teaches kids about money up until they are done with grade 12. And now they
Yeah.
begin to look for piecework. All right. It's
Mm.
so sad. So we should have a deliberate policy, perhaps even a law, that
Mm.
forces all teachers or even just schools to have at least a period for financial literacy. Just
Mm.
a period in a week where kids
Yeah.
can be taught financial literacy because it's extremely important. We can't be
Yeah.
teaching kids how to draw grasshoppers in the 21st century, right? Kids are drawing, trees like we did in biology, in grade 12. You're
Yeah.
being taught about the life cycle of a mosquito, how a mosquito makes eggs. I mean, what is the meaning of this nonsense? Because I'm not gonna start the mosquito for goodness sake.
Yeah.
But in grade
The
12,
next way to give you
we were
malaria.
taught, yes, in grade 12, we're spending so much time drawing
Yeah.
mosquitoes, the life cycle of mosquito, a grasshopper, whatever it is, wasting our
Yeah.
precious time. When our friends in India are being taught technology, invention, AI, machine
Yeah.
learning, data science, here we are being taught the life cycle of a mosquito. Come on, what is that? What
Yeah.
what am I going to do with that? Oh,
Yeah.
definitely I'm not a scientist, all right? And I have no
Yeah.
interest in biology. I'm a businessman. So teach
Yeah.
me things that are going to be beneficial to me because I'm a businessman. That's what I do. That's what I like. That's my passion. So why are
Yeah.
you wasting my time teaching me about mosquitoes? So our
Yeah.
school system should change the curriculum. Not the dongosy kind of curriculum where you simply put a few bits and pieces about finance, but proper financial education that
Yeah.
produces tangible results.
Yeah.
That's what we
Love
need. And if you think of it, Wupe, there's a
that.
practical
Mm.
example on this slide. for
Yeah.
Zambian parents. All right. Can Zambian parents advocate for financial education in schools and encourage participation
Mm.
in financial literacy programs? Do you know why? Because if
Mm-hmm.
parents don't advocate for it, no one will. All right?
That's true.
No one will. The moment you begin to talk about it, you draw attention to an issue. Once you
Mm.
draw attention to an issue, somebody will do something about it.
Got
As
it.
long
That's
as
true.
parents are quiet, politicians will be
What?
quiet because they don't know nobody cares about this thing. They'll focus on other issues. So parents should
Yeah.
begin to, begin to talk, begin to make suggestions. We need
Yeah.
to make sure financial education is what is encouraged in school at all levels.
100%. I love that. Yeah, I agree with you. And you know how the Bible also talks about leave a legacy for your children. And a lot of us are
Yeah,
rushing to leave money for our
yeah,
children. But if you equip them with an education about how to make money, they'll never run out because
yeah,
even the little you leave them, they can multiply. And
yeah,
yeah, it's so true about updating the system. But another system that I thought about just now that affects a
yeah.
lot of financial literacy for us is the church
Yes.
and a lot of the charismatic teaching now that that is very scary. Sometimes about money also affects that.
Yeah,
So on the
yeah,
one hand, because like we're a highly religious nation, we have
yes.
children who spend a lot of time in school, but we also have children who are in the church. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's another institution where there needs to be an upgrade in teaching what is right. And like you are saying, it will need some intentionality of maybe bringing experts like you into those spaces who even have some knowledge of the word of God and what it says to teach the word from a biblical perspective so that they are not
Yes,
losing and throwing out the baby with the bathwater when teaching about finances, right? So,
yes,
like, giving is really good and giving is important, but
yeah,
it shouldn't be to the detriment of your livelihood.
yes.
And it requires certain wisdom. So, I 100% agree with you about updating the school system and how um, parents are the key. I mean, you spend t- hours and hours teaching, hours combined when you're on your platform teaching about
Yeah,
financial literacy. And we have parents on the platform right now, or
yeah,
potential parents right now on the platform who are learning from
mm,
you financial literacy. So it has to work like a cascade where parents are intentional about passing that legacy on to their
mm,
children of everything that they are learning. And even a step further, like you have said, engage these institutions where you're taking your children to teach
yeah.
in a formal, structured way about
Yes,
financial literacy.
indeed.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so how can both the homeschool church best be equipped for teaching children the value of money?
So for the homes, like we said earlier, I think we have to recognize that we are not raising, lazy human beings.
Mhm.
We're raising people who are going to become parents to other people.
Yeah, that's true.
So as parents in homes, there are a few strategies that we can use. For example, lead by example. Can you involve your children in financial discussions? All right.
Mm.
Don't let them think that you are rich. Don't mislead your children that you are rich, you are
Yeah.
happening, you're not happening. Let them know what you go through to provide for them. Let them
Mm,
understand that dad has got to go for work, mom has got to
mm,
go for work because one salary alone is not enough for all of us at home. Let them understand that. All right.
mm,
Don't let your children think like you're happening. No, parents
mm.
usually there's this thing of wanting to impress your children. So in the end,
Yeah,
you're always stepping out of your way just to make your kids happy. They have no idea how many debts you've accumulated. So can
yeah.
we begin to involve them at a household
Mm,
level when we're having
mm,
financial discussions? Can we
yeah.
encourage entrepreneurship, right, at a very young age and provide financial resources for them? Okay. We
Mhm,
can even begin to teach them how to start a business. For example, not that they are
mhm.
going to do businesses. There's that thing that is called careers there. Let's
Yeah,
stop this thing of just saying, no, I want to be a doctor, even buy a gown for a child to become a doctor. Yeah, that's
yeah,
fun, but let's also
yeah.
teach them real practical issues, right? Yes, it's
Mm.
okay to be a doctor, it's okay to be an accountant, but it's also okay to know how to sell. You teach them
It's
certain
so
skills
because
about
no
money.
matter what you are, you have to sell. Even if you're a doctor,
Yes,
even if you're an account, you will have to sell.
yes, otherwise you have to sell. So if you can't sell, you're out of business. So we need to reach a
Yeah.
point where we teach our kids how to sell. But also when it comes to school, we said parents, can we be involved? Once in a while, let's go and engage our teachers. Let's talk to
Mm.
them. Let's collaborate. Parents and
Yeah.
teachers. I like what Mr. Siatuambo did. He
Yeah.
organized a market day at his school where
Yeah.
parents and their children came together. They were buying things, fruits, vegetables, and stuff like that. It was
Yeah.
nice because the kids had a feel, all right, of what
Yeah.
it is to be at the market, what it is to sell to somebody, what it is to convince a buyer to buy from you. That was
Yeah.
a very good move by a Great Northwood Academy. I think that was fantastic what Mr. Satombo did. So other
Yeah.
schools can also take up the same example and begin to collaborate more with parents. And when it's
Yeah.
come to the church as well, Wope, like you mentioned, the
Mm.
church, even the church also is supposed to be involved. All right, partly
Mm.
because they are in some churches they have something called Sunday schools. Kids
Yeah.
go the whole
I teach
time on
Sunday
Sunday
school.
singing songs,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
Jumping around, singing songs, clapping, say Tumoponde Satana. What kind of that? Can you Tumoponde Satana? Do you know who Satan is? So instead of wasting them teaching kids such kind of dongolistic songs, Tumoponde Satana. Here, that's dongolistic, wasting kids'
Yeah.
time. Teach them
Yeah.
something meaningful because the fact is they too ponde Satana. You have no capacity. All right. So it's important to teach kids things that are real, right?
Yeah.
Pick up some Bible lessons about planning. For example, in Luke 14:28, there are lots of nice examples about planning before you build a house, calculate the cost,
Yeah.
before you get married, calculate the cost. There are all those nice examples in the Bible about planning, about finances, and things like that. So those lessons can be picked and taught to our children instead of just them going to Sunday school, singing songs, jumping
Mm.
around, clapping for whoever said a poem, memorizing, my memory verse is so and so. They don't even understand what you're telling them. Teach them things they can understand. Stop
Yeah.
wasting our kids' memory with unnecessary information at Sunday school. All right. So
Yeah.
that's extremely important. And just maybe uh,
Mm.
I'm not sure. Before we go to the next point, I'd put a bonus slide on this one just to talk about the practical examples for teaching money values. All right, it's
Mm. Yeah.
related to the church, the school, and the parents. So here we are saying that one of the values we can talk about here in Zambia is setting saving goals, like you said. Let
Yeah.
each child have a goal. You tell them, "Okay, for you, you are saving for your bow. You are saving for
Mm.
your guitar. You are saving." So they have those goals. Whenever they
Mm.
do,
Yeah.
they do some chores. You give them, they go and save. You give them, they go and put. You give them, so they have a goal. All right.
Yeah.
You are teaching them. You are the one giving them
Mm.
these chores. You give them like a 50 kwacha this time, like a 20 kwacha, like a 10 kwacha. They're looking forward. They are saving. They are saving. They are working up until that saving is reached. Then you go and get what you wanted to get. So saving goals. So even you as a mom, you're also saving. You have like a bank also. For me, I'm saving for this. You are saving for this. Dad is
Yeah.
saving for that. All right.
Yeah.
You also want to
Yeah.
encourage community service. All right.
Yeah.
And creating a family budget together. We can't
Yeah.
overemphasize that. A family budget together. Okay, what do you want? I want shoes. Okay, we're going to put shoes in. So we're going to do this. You will sell for this one. You will sell for that one. And then you begin to work together with your kids. They are going to be more
Love that.
transparent also with their wives or their husbands. Because this is where we have people who
Mm.
hide money. You have a husband
Mm.
who looks at you as if you're a thief, because maybe that's how his dad was. You
Yeah.
understand? Yes,
Yeah, that's true.
there are lots of husbands who would never,
Mm.
never, 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 ever, ever show their ATM card to their wife. Never. The
Yeah.
husbands right now, never, would never share the password for their ATM with their wives. Never.
That's
Do you know
insane.
why?
That's crazy.
Because
Mm-hmm.
that's how they have been brought up. They have
Yeah.
been taught that, what, as a man, you're not supposed to disclose everything to a woman. She's a thief. Indirectly, they have been taught that. So they look at you as if you're a thief. You find even a broke guy is hiding
Yeah.
his ATM card. What are you hiding? You have no money. Have you seen? Even broke people hiding their ATM cards. There's zero on way, but the guy is hiding. He's hiding. Why? Because somebody did not teach them right.
Yeah,
So
that's
when
true.
you begin to teach your kids
That's
the value of transparency, you budget with them, you, your wife, and your kids, they are going to
yeah.
grow knowing that, what, it's okay to trust a woman. It's okay to trust
Mm.
a man who is my husband. It's okay because mom and dad planned with us. Even them, they
Yeah.
look forward to the time they're going to do the same with their wives and their children. All right.
Yeah.
But if mom
Yeah.
and dad have never planned together with them, the kids will think, you know what? The only rule number one when you get married, hide your money. That's what most
Yo.
husbands do. Rule number
Yeah.
one, hide your money, hide your money, hide your money until you die. All right. So a wife has no chance.
Yeah.
If we can ask the audience right now, guys, tell me in the comments if I'm right. Tell me how many husbands have given their wives passwords to their PIN codes? Zero.
Yeah.
Very few. They are very, very few. Out of maybe 100, you find maybe 10. 90 have hidden. Broke guys have hidden their passwords.
That's broke, guys. That's
Everyone is
very
hiding.
sad. That makes for very sad information because you know how I do a threefold code, and I always talk about can two work unless they are agreed, but two are always better for their labor. If two
Yeah.
people, and you know how the Bible also says, a house divided against itself cannot stand. So if the husband and the wife cannot be united with money, and like you're explaining, it trickles down to the children, you're not only affecting that home you're in, it's generations um, after that, because what your child knows is what your child will teach, and that will keep going down, and that's so scary.
Yeah.
And that is
It's
so that
scary
is
out
so
there.
scary. Yeah.
It's
So
scary. This is
yeah,
why so
and it's
sometimes
very
don't blame some
powerful.
husbands. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody taught them how to plan together. Nobody taught them. Their dads were busy, their moms were not interested. So they grew up
Yeah.
knowing you're supposed to hide your money from your wife. Hide your money until you die. People die with hidden money. They leave their children suffering because nobody taught them that it's okay to trust your wife. Nobody taught them that.
That's
Nobody.
crazy. And that's very, very sad.
It's
But
sad.
yeah, I really love that. And also tradition. Like for instance, where I come from, the part of the country where I come from, where
Yes.
matrilineal, I hate that word. And they believe, for instance, that, or at least that's what was taught long ago, that the only children the family believes belong to the family are the children of the woman, right? So because only the woman knows the real father of of the child. So for instance, if my brother gets married and he has children, his children won't be given a lot of regard more than my kids because they know that that one is mine. I don't know if you understand
Yeah.
what I mean. Yeah. And so
Yeah.
traditions like that mean that inheritance is difficult to pass on to children who may rightly be entitled to it. Because even when you think about it, if, for instance, my brother, God forbid, gets gets gongered by his woman and she has a child outside marriage, he's chosen to keep that child, and that's his child by adoption. So you see that money can't grow because of also the traditions that we have. And when we look in the church again, the whole principle, in fact, I'd like to hear your opinion on this, Shadrach. When the Bible
Yes.
says the love for money is the root for all evil,
Mhm.
what are your thoughts on that verse? I think it's one of the verses that has kept a lot of Christians in poverty, and really, I think it has been misunderstood. But I'd really like to hear your perspective on that.
You see, the Bible is very, very clear. It's
Yeah.
extremely categorically clear on that issue. It says the love of money is the
Mm,
root of all evil. It did
yeah.
not say money
Money is
is the
evil.
root of evil. No, there's a
Yeah.
difference. It is the
Yeah.
love of money.
Yeah.
Why do you think when you go to your church, there's that little box for you to make some contributions to enhance the
Mm.
work of God, for example?
God,
Almost all the
100%.
organizations have that. All right.
Yeah.
You make some donations. They use the donations to help the missionaries. All right.
Mm.
Those building different buildings of worships and things like
Mm.
that. So
Mm.
money really is not evil. All right.
Mm.
Money is okay. Money is a good thing. The Bible even says money answers all needs.
All
All
things.
right.
Yeah.
But the love, what that means. There are people who've made money a priority in their lives. Nothing else
Mm.
matters other than money,
Yeah. Yeah.
including worshiping God. The one who made them, the one who gave them the knowledge to invent money so they can exchange it properly, they ignore him.
Mm.
All they do is
Mm.
money, money, money. So much so that they are even willing to go and get into witchcraft. They are willing to kill somebody because of money. All right.
Mm.
So their love becomes so strong that they are willing to give up. They are, they are conscious. So it is the love. When you put
Mm.
money as the only thing that matters in your life, that becomes a problem. Money is
Mm.
important. Right now, we are not naked here because of money. All right.
Mm.
We have used
Mm.
money to buy ourselves nice clothes, nice jackets, nice ties, nice dress.
Mm.
You have those
Mm.
glasses. All right. You've gone
Mm.
to the salon because
Mm.
of the money. You spent
Mm.
money. I can see behind you there's a very nice array of curtains. All right. Beautifully put there. It's because of money. You
Yeah.
understand? So
Yeah.
money gives you options. It makes life easier. All
Mm.
right. But when you make money the only thing that counts in your life, it becomes a problem because money can blind you from seeing other things. You become so
Mm.
poor that the only thing that you're going to have is simply money. And that's not a good thing
Mm.
because if you love money so much, it will
Yeah.
affect your relationship with God.
Mm.
It becomes like a small God for you. There are
That's
people who are
true.
willing to burn any bridge. They are willing to leave their family, anyone else, because of money. So what the
Yeah.
Bible says there, it says money is okay, but can you strike a
A
balance?
balance.
You
Mm.
understand?
I hear
Yes, you
you.
need the money. There's time for making money, and then there's time for worshiping God. You understand?
I
Don't
hear
let
you.
money control your life.
Mm.
Control the money. Don't let the
Mm.
money control. So it's simply an admonition from the Bible for us to strike a balance. So it says the love of money is the
Mm.
root of all
Oh,
evil.
evil. Yeah.
When that
Love
love
that.
grows, you fail to control it. It
Mm.
can lead you into doing things you never thought you'd do.
Mm.
Have you seen? So some people are willing to go and become prostitutes because of the
Yeah.
love of money. They can't control themselves. They just want to get the money at all costs. Have you seen?
Mm.
They end up
Yeah.
losing their morals because they just want to
Yeah.
get this money. All
Yeah.
right. So
Yeah.
a lot of people have misunderstood that, especially the broke guys. And I say this, yeah, let me say this. A lot of us poor people, we like to criticize the rich people. And
That's
we
true.
say it is difficult for a rich man to be in the kingdom of God. That's what we like to say. We
Yeah.
criticize the rich as if they've offended us. They've not offended us. All
Yeah.
right. If you are poor and you are a sinner, Armageddon comes, you are dying. You
Yeah. Good.
understand?
Yeah.
If a
Mm.
rich guy is rich and is doing what God wants, judgment day
We'll get
comes,
it
he's
together.
surviving. Have you seen?
Yeah.
So you can't start abusing the rich simply because you are poor and say, you know what, it's difficult for a rich man to enter. No, it never said it was going to be easier for you, the poor. All right? It never
That's true. I
says that.
never thought about that. It didn't
It
say
never
the
said it
poor,
would be easier. No, never
or
said
maybe
that.
it's based on assumption.
Yeah, it never said that. So we have to strike it.
Mm.
But so as we talk about money, let's not be
Yeah.
hypocritical and demonize money. All right?
That's interesting.
We
I
have to
never
talk
thought
about
about it like that.
ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
It is
really
us
never
who have
thought
the
about
problem,
it.
not the money. It
Yeah.
is us who have the problem because
Mm.
we tend to have these new behaviors, that make
Yeah.
us fail to worship God, and that just lead us astray. You
Yeah.
understand? Yes.
Yeah. That's powerful. I like that. I really do. And that's another thing we need to pass on to children. It's having a healthy relationship with money.
Yes.
Where like you and it ties in perfectly to the last point you had talked about the importance of modeling. Children learn more by what they see compared
Yes.
to what you tell them. So
Yes.
if they see that money is an idol for you, and children pick things up real quick, they
Yes.
would think that that is the way it's supposed to be. So if you
Yes.
have an unhealthy relationship with money, just the way you have explained it perfectly, that is what the children will pick on. And then what will happen is, even when you are older, and if you already don't even have a proper legacy of investing and whatever, and you need to depend on those children to take care of you, they most
Yeah.
likely won't, because you have already oriented them to think that they should hoard money and keep it for themselves and not
Yeah.
share it. So you do yourself a disservice in the long run as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you have any other thoughts as we wind up our conversation tonight, Shavik?
Maybe it is just maybe a few resources that our parents can do, right?
Yeah.
To help their
Mhm.
kids. Books are important. Teach kids how to read books, all right? There are also some apps for kids that they can use. There are those tablets for babies. Some of them are
Yeah.
entrepreneurship tablets. You can also go and get one from DON Institute. Dumisani has those tablets. You can go and
Oh,
buy from there. They have
powerful.
those
Are
tablets.
they
Just
are they age? Do they have like age restrictions or?
they should have at a certain age where you can go and choose, is your child 10 years old, is your child
Yeah.
6 years old, then you
Yeah.
buy for them so that they can begin to use those tablets for entrepreneurship, so
Lovely.
you
I love
can
that.
teach kids those other resources. Also let them
Yeah.
the kids learn things very fast. They have a
They
very high
do.
concentration. If you go to a living room
Yeah.
and your son is watching cartoon, you can call this guy, he will not even
What?
hear you. Kids will concentrate a lot. So if you
Yeah.
can utilize that concentration for something meaningful,
Mm.
you are building responsible parents, responsible citizens, responsible adults. All right.
Yeah.
So people, let's teach our kids the value of money. From little things like how to value food in your home.
Mm.
When there's
Yeah.
food at home, teach your
Yeah.
kids to respect food. People, yes, you
Yeah.
love your kids. You want them to eat. Don't want to suffer the way you suffered, but don't spoil them. All right.
Mm.
If you give somebody a
100%.
free ride, you are giving them a ticket to a life of poverty and laziness.
That's
Let
true.
them know that it's important to work for things. It's important
Yeah.
to respect food. All right.
Mm.
Once kids know how to respect food, in a sense, you are teaching them to respect money because we use money to buy food. But at the
Mm.
same time, you are doing yourself a huge favor. You will not be overly stressed trying to
Yeah.
impress your kids with unnecessary bottles of juice every week. No, because
Mm.
they know I'm gonna take juice when I feel like when I need it. I'm gonna eat those oranges. Some kids will go to a freezer. Bupe. It's so sad in some homes. A kid goes to a freezer, gets apples, bites one, throws it away. Orange, buys a bit, throws it away. 10 apples in a
Mhm.
day, one kid. Hasn't even
Yeah.
finished 10 one. Just banana, just
Yeah.
misusing. But if you can teach them, don't throw away food. If you can't
Mm.
finish, pack it nicely for you to come and eat it later. Have you
Mm.
seen? So a
I
kid
hear
knows if
you.
I get this apple, I'm going to buy it. If I don't finish, I'll take it back in the fridge and then I'll come and
Mm.
eat it later when I need it. Don't throw it
Mm.
away. Those small,
Yeah.
small lessons, if you are taking juice, don't put a lot of juice that you can't finish. First, put a little juice in a cup. If you finish, you can get more so that you
More.
finish. Don't put what you can't finish. So they know,
Mm.
what? I can't finish this big cup. I'm going to put little juice in a small cup. So kids are learning. You are doing
Mm.
yourself a huge favor, all right?
Mm.
Because not
Yeah.
you're not raising people who are not responsible. They're going to be irresponsible adults and responsible parents. And once
Mm.
you raise somebody who is responsible, the chances are that they are more likely to find themselves in prison because they're
Yeah.
not responsible. Irresponsible adults usually tend out to find themselves in prison because that's
Yeah.
where a lot of responsible people are found. All right.
Yeah.
So it's very important to understand that it is those small, small subtle things that are going to make a lot of sense. Like when I was young, my dad taught me how to sell. I'm
Yeah.
a very good salesman today
Mm.
because dad taught me how to sell at a very young age. I used to sell at his restaurant. So I've
Mm.
grown up selling things. My mom introduced me to Salala business. I
Yeah.
learned how to sell, how to interact on the streets at
Yeah.
that grassroots level. Today, I'm a
Yeah.
very good salesman because of those skills I learned from my parents. Have you seen?
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
you may not really understand how it's going to help your kids, but when they grow, it's going to
Yeah.
mean a lot for them.
It's
Indeed,
legacy. Yeah,
it's
so
legacy.
our time is up. Thank you so much, Shadrach. It's always a good time when we sit and have a conversation. I'm always learning things. I always get these light bulb moments. And I'm grateful for those, for the recommendations as well. And thank you to everyone who joined us tonight. Do you want to do some shout outs?
Yes, we have a few. We have Senga, we have Ether, we have, of course, Adams. Thank you so much, everyone who joined us this evening. May God bless you and thank you for keeping sharing the content from this platform.
Yeah, thank you so much. Even for those that will catch this later, do share in the comments your takeaways and even the lessons that we may have left out that are important for children to learn. So until the next one, this has been Wupe, and thanks, Shadrach.
Fantastic. Bye
Bye.
bye.